In this week's episode, Jeremy gets more than he bargained for when we set out to explore a national wildlife refuge. Normally, this is me.
Oh my gosh.
We do, however, get to see an animal that neither one of us has ever seen before.
So, I don't know, maybe they just don't have good hearing, but he seemed like he was clueless until I got right up on him and he saw me.
Then, he does some digging to find an internet solution when our Starlink can't be used due to tree coverage.
This little router here allows me to still maintain my own network security.
Finally, his freshly washed truck gets a bit dirty when we drive through the rain to see the smallest church in America.
And now Candace has got me out here driving around in the rain today. You can see I had to drive through this muddy nastiness over here.
Alright, so we have a really short drive day today, and it's pretty much all through back roads in Georgia. So Jeremy is starving. I made sandwiches today. We were planning on hitting like a rest stop or something.
Nothing at all between here and there.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we're not even going to hit 95/17 until we're about 10 minutes out.
Alright, what did you make me?
I made you a ham, turkey, and provolone cheese sandwich.
We don't usually do this either. We should do more of this, but normally it's taquitos and sausages from a travel place, Love's or something.
I always eat while I'm packing up and stuff, so I'm never hungry until well into our drive. And I always miscalculate like how long the drive is. Okay, I know, all right, it's gonna be 3 hours. But I forget that that's right over lunchtime. He doesn't really eat until about noon. So today I was smart and I said, we're gonna be driving around noon, so I should probably pack something so we don't have to hit a taquitos, or a Love's.
Half a mile, turn left onto Belt Highway 23.
Which is good since there aren't any.
Yeah.
When you see the road from every direction, it will give you eyes, give you hope, it'll give you perspective. I've been back and forth, and yeah, I had my crashes. Now I've seen the road, it goes every direction. Oh, there are stories to tell, the times we grew and the times we fell. Oh, I've been afraid some days, but the road will lead us to a better place. Road will lead us to a better place.
All right, another super long drive day under the belt. I think it was 63 miles. Anyway, we're here. This is a great site. It's a very small park. I don't know how many sites are here. Probably can't be more than about 20. Probably the most quaint RV park we've ever stayed in. Our site is really, it's all the way at the back. It's secluded and it's relatively quiet. There's a road about 100 yards away, but maybe 150 yards away. We still hear the traffic a little bit, but it's super nice back in here. And there's a Piggly Wiggly straight across the road, which is a step up from the last town that we were in. They weren't even fancy enough to have boxed wine. So Candace has been out of wine for like 3 days. I think she's had the shakes. So we walked over to the Piggly Wiggly right across the street. We got some boxed wine, and I also got some Guinness. You see down there, maybe right there, you can see my Guinness. I haven't had Guinness in forever, but the reason I bring it up, the Guinness, is because I can tell you that that new koozie that I got from Buc-ee's, that supposedly will handle any can. Any can or bottle. No, not so much. It doesn't handle a Guinness. So I was a little bit disappointed in that. The only downside to this site, and really this campground, you see all around me here, nothing but trees. So guess what that means? There's no Starlink here. I didn't even bother putting it up. I have a tiny hole right above the rig, in the tiny hole in the trees up here. That's not going to be enough to give me any significant internet. But I did get on the campground Wi-Fi, and it's pulling down really good speeds, actually. Hopefully we won't even need that Starlink while we're here. Today's adventures are the Harris Neck National Wildlife Refuge in Georgia, somewhere near where we're staying. Supposedly, let's see, armadillos, coyotes, lots of alligators, supposedly around here.
You said something about cottonmouths
Oh, yeah.
and rattlesnakes or something?
Yeah, like three or four different types of venomous snakes and spiders.
Snapping turtles.
Snapping turtles. So, this ought to be interesting. Headed to a pond here, Bluebill Pond or something. And it's a good thing I got a big old selfie stick here to beat off the wild animals.
When running from an alligator, you should zigzag, not just run in a straight line, because alligators can't turn on a dime. So, you know.
Hopefully we won't have to run from any alligators, but you never know. Plus, I figure I don't have to run faster than the alligator. I only have to run faster than you. Ah, ants. Here, take this. All over my shoe, holy. Ah.
Normally, this is me.
Oh my gosh. Not cool. Not cool. Look at that shoe. I mean, it is covered in ants. So is my sock.
Oh, very pretty red ants.
Yeah.
Well, you're gonna be in pain tomorrow.
All right, so how in the hell am I gonna get these all out of my shoe? This is definitely not cool. Like I have no idea how many ants may still be in this shoe. Oh, there's one right there. Oh yeah, yeah. Yep, right there, right about where you were about to step.
Oh, really?
Yeah, right on the wooden ledge right there. Yeah, I was kind of standing right on the edge there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was standing there trying to get a good shot of this swampy area over here. You know how you're standing in tall grass and it kind of pokes you and you're like, you just think it's tall grass, you know? And it did it again and it did again. I looked down and I'm like, there's no tall grass. And then I saw just that swarm of ants. And I think I got a good shot of it. Hopefully it comes out, but I mean, my shoe was covered. So I think I got it all out though. I think I only took maybe 2 or 3 bites.
But he's gonna be feeling them.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I've ever really been stung by those type of red ants before, or bit by those type of red ants. So we'll see.
Well, if it's the same as the ones that I've been attacked by in the past, tomorrow should be interesting. Like the first day is a little uncomfortable, but the second day, oh my gosh, the burning.
Well, we'll see what happens. I don't know. But we were worried about alligators and snakes. I was not worried about ants. They need to add that to their list.
Yes.
Besides obviously getting all the ants off of me, my other #1 concern was get the camera rolling. You just can't miss out on that opportunity.
That's right. And when the camera's rolling, the cussing stays to a minimum.
That's true. There might have to be a few bleeps, but we'll see. So we were just talking about the fact that she should have worn her hiking shoes. Now,
At least they're not flip-flops.
Hang on. Tell me again what you just said about you didn't think what?
I didn't think we were going to be doing like a lot of walking, hiking.
At the nature preserve. Yep.
Hey, we all have those moments.
Listen, and I don't want to hear it. Those are brand new shoes.
Yeah?
If you ruin them today, then you ruin them.
I'm not worried
There's
about...
no other brand new pair of shoes in your future.
Yeah. I'm not so much worried about ruining them, but these are cute shoes and they're fine for a little bit of walking, but they're not as cushiony as my hiking shoes. So better on my feet, legs, and back if I had worn the hiking shoes.
Not to interrupt this, but one of us has got to be the snake lookout.
I am like scanning my surroundings.
Because remember when we were in Manassas, and we didn't use this footage, but we were in Manassas at a old
It was a battlefield.
Civil War battlefield. Mm-hmm. We came across a snake, and somebody I thought was going to pee themselves.
Yeah, I definitely squealed like a girl.
So.
Jumped back a couple feet. Jeremy passed within like a foot of it.
Yeah, right next to it. So anyway, we got to be on snake lookout here.
That's
so.
right.
I think the worst part about that whole experience was now every little thing I feel, it's a red ant and it's gonna get me.
Yep.
Kind of like, was it last night where you?
Oh, the gnats.
Yeah. You get to a point where it's on your mind and everything.
Yes.
You get a little breeze and it tickles a hair. It's a red ant.
Yep.
And it's there to consume you.
Yep.
And the gnats around here, whew, man, they're like the no-see-ums down south. They're these little tiny things. We used to have this friend, a Navy buddy, called them gnats with teeth. Man, they're so small you can barely see them.
Yeah.
But dang, do you feel them when they bite you?
Yeah. I mean, they're easy to kill, but they're everywhere.
And it's not like a mosquito bite where it itches for hours, at least not for me. It doesn't leave a spot or it doesn't itch anything like that. But holy crap, it's like somebody sticks you with a needle when they bite you.
Unfortunately for me, they do leave spots, which don't itch, but I have really attractive legs now.
We're on an old airfield that was built back during World War II, and it's obviously not an airfield anymore, but what I think is really neat is this big, beautiful palm tree right here. It's just growing out of the middle of all this asphalt. There's actually a lot of trees just growing out of the middle of the asphalt around here, but I think that's the only palm tree I've seen.
Right?
I don't know about you guys, but I have never seen an armadillo. And I've certainly never been this close up on one. And he just does not care that I'm here. Or maybe he didn't know that I'm here. So, I don't know, maybe they just don't have good hearing, but he seemed like he was clueless until I got right up on him and he saw me. And then he took off.
Oh yeah, this is sand.
I had to send her through first. Make sure she wasn't gonna sink.
Taking one for the team. Oh my gosh.
What do you see over there?
A crap ton
Of crabs.
of crabs.
Oh, my shoes are gonna be disgusting. Oh, you're freaking, hey, what did I tell you? Huh? What did I tell you about those
only
shoes?
on the soles. That's washable.
Okay.
These are leather. All right, so we're leaving the refuge, and we didn't get to see any alligators or snakes, which would have been cool but terrifying at the same time. We did get to see a crab ton of crabs and some wood storks and an armadillo. The armadillo was really cool. If you're ever here in this area, it's well worth the visit. It's free to get in. You can do the driving tour. There's several walking trails that you can do. I think the longest walking trail is 3 miles, and then there's a short one at like half a mile. So it's well worth coming out here and spending an afternoon, especially if it's the cooler temperatures.
So like many of you guys out there, we use Starlink as our main source of internet most of the time. But as we all know, Starlink has one big downfall, and that's the fact that you have to have a clear view of the sky. And we've all found ourselves in those campgrounds or in those camping spots that is pretty much surrounded by trees, and we don't have a real good view of the sky so that we get good internet access. Now, I'll be honest here, most campgrounds don't have the best Wi-Fi in the world, but we found ourselves in a situation a few times where we were surrounded by trees in a campground, but the campground did actually have pretty good Wi-Fi. Now, I'm not a huge fan of using campground Wi-Fi for 2 reasons. Number one, there's a security issue. They probably have some kind of security in place on their Wi-Fi system, but it's basically a public Wi-Fi network, right? You got a bunch of people on this network that you don't know. So there's a security issue. And then number 2, we have a lot of smart gadgets in this RV that are looking for my network. They're not looking for the campground network. They're looking for my network. And so when we're in that situation, unless I go in and change the network on all those devices, I don't have use of them if I'm not on my own network, meaning my Starlink network. So I did some poking around on the internet. I'm not a big computer guy. I'm not a big tech guru, but I did some poking around to see what options I have when I'm in that situation. We can obviously get like the AT&T or, Verizon, hotspot modems that you can use anywhere, and they just work off of the cell network, but that's just more money that I don't want to spend every month. And then obviously we have our phone Wi-Fi hotspots that we can use, but we're limited to 40 gigabytes a month per plan on that. So that's not something I want to use up either, because we do a lot of uploading for these YouTube videos, and that's really going to suck up that data, and I really just prefer to use that for emergency situations. So what I found was this TP-Link router on Amazon. I think it was like 30 or 35 bucks. And what I found out about this specific one here, and I know others do it too, but what I can do with this thing is I can latch on to another Wi-Fi signal, connect to that, some other Wi-Fi network, and then use this as a hotspot. And the reason I really like this is because this little router here allows me to still maintain my own network security. So I can configure this thing to look and act just like my normal Starlink router. So I give it the same network name, I give it the same network password, and then I'm the only one that has access to anything in our rig. Now, yes, some super hacker could come in and get in, but it's a lot safer than being on one of those, semi-public campground Wi-Fi networks. The second thing that it does is, because this network looks just like my normal Starlink network, all of my smart gadgets in the rig are going to see this network, and everything's going to operate as it should. So when I find myself in that situation where I don't have Starlink internet, but I've got decent campground Wi-Fi, I just connect this thing to the campground Wi-Fi, and then, like I said before, everything in the RV thinks that it's my normal Starlink network. So I'm not going to go into super detail on how to set this up, because it's actually really easy. The user manual that comes with this thing is very self-explanatory about how to set this up. There's a little switch here. You got to have it in the right position, and then you've got to go in and do some really basic configuration of this thing. But once it's set up, it's my network. So rather than bore you with the details on going through and setting this thing up, because I initially had planned on doing that, I'll just, if this is something you're interested in, just use that user manual that comes with it, because it's very good at explaining how to get that done. The other thing that I really like about this is you can see here, it's very small, it's very portable, and it's very light. So being in an RV, we all know weight and space, right? Those are two huge concerns. And this takes up very little room. I actually normally, I just had a little piece of sticky tape on the back here, and I just stick it to my desk, and then it never moves, and then I just use it when I need to. It's powered by USB, so it can just plug straight into your computer if you want. And the other thing about this is, even if I find myself in a hotel room, I can take this little router with me. I can latch on to the hotel room Wi-Fi, and again, I have my own network. Anyway, that's all I'm going to go into this. I just wanted to point this out because we have found ourselves a few times now in campgrounds that have pretty good Wi-Fi, but I don't really get any internet through my Starlink, and this thing has really helped us out in those situations. All right, people, so I just got the truck cleaned yesterday. It was disgusting, nasty, gross. And now Candace has got me out here driving around in the rain today. You can see I had to drive through this muddy nastiness over here. You probably can't see it on the truck, but now my rear fenders on the dually, because they always get filthy because they catch everything because they stick out so far. Anyway, truck's dirty again, all so we could come see the smallest church in America. I think she was way more excited about this than I was. Not to mention, it is so freaking muggy outside right now and sticky, and the little biting gnats are coming out and getting me, so I'm gonna go try and convince her to move on.